Passion is keeping semi-retired vets Peter Wright busy. Find out as we head to the Dales for Our Great Yorkshire Life, brand new tonight at 7. Now on Channel 5 and My 5, Jeremy Vine.
Today, is Nigel Farage right to say Boris Johnson is the worst Prime Minister we've ever had? Should politicians be banned from gambling? And is it time to stop knocking the England team? With me, Jeremy Vine.
Mr. Vine! There's Vine! What's the bag? You enjoy your stay up?
Welcome to the show. It is Tuesday, 25th of June. Great to be back. Thanks to Alexis for yesterday, joining us today.
Thanks for yesterday, Alexis. He's Friday.
Charlie Rowley, as well as podcast host Gemma Forte, as well. Her podcast is called The Tour.
The Tour.
T-R-A-W-L. That's correct. Very good. Here's what's on the show. First up is Nigel Farage. I'd like to say Boris Johnson was our worst Prime Minister. The Reform leader branded him a liar and a hypocrite who betrayed Brexiteers after they clashed over, this is Farage and Boris Johnson clashed over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Do you agree that makes Boris the worst leader we've ever had? Then should politicians be banned from gambling? That's what the Lib Dem leader for Ed Davey has proposed after Labour accused Rishi Sunak of stalling on the Tory election betting scandal. Is telling MPs they can't have a flutter overkill? What if they want to bet on a football game? Speaking of which, should England fans just stop knocking the England team at the Euros? They're through to the knockout stages already. They haven't even played their final group match, so they're getting so much criticism. Commentators like Lineker and Shearer have been told they've stuck the boot in too heavily in these early stages of the tournament. Do you think it's time to cut Gareth Southgate's men some slack? We'll get your views and we'll meet the England supporter who's covered his house in flags. Then it's the papers and everything else. We'll bring you up to speed with the alleged kidnap and murder plot that targeted Holly Willoughby. See pictures of the suspect as well. We'll also meet Danny Robbins, presenter of the hit paranormal podcast Uncanny. At 11:15, Storm is joined by Dawn Neeson and Owen Jones, and she'll ask what you would do about the small boats crisis if you were Prime Minister. I'll show you how to get in touch, okay? Formalities here. We'll go back to Miss Swift, I think, because she's still in the news with her amazing concert, which I haven't been to see, sadly. Taylor Swift, let's try AI here, sings the phone number for Jeremy Vine. Brilliant. So let's do 3D, and we'll go Van Gogh. Show it to us. AI, come on. What have you got? Stopwatch. 3, 2, 1. Taylor Swift sings the phone number to this show. Okay, that's not bad, is it? There we go. Which one would you choose of those four? They're all kind of clever, and I guess if we did it again, we'd get 4 different images. 02078622222 is the number. Thank you, Taylor. 16 pence per minute on a landline, and thank you. Mobiles may be dearer, and are you enjoying this? No, I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative. We will do that thing right now. Facebook, Insta, Threads, social media, X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok. Just Google Jeremy Vine on 5. And if
There's
you're
a YouTube.
you will find our YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to, and we're gradually building up brilliant clips from the show. And there could well be some today. Well, Capana. The most that wonderful Anne Hegarty from The Chase.
Yes.
She just said, I'm fat because I eat cake. And that was viewed 1 billion times.
Wow.
I know. I can't explain it, but bless her. So special welcome to you, Charlie. During your time in government, you worked on levelling up. That went well. Okay, don't worry. As a pandemic response. Just to say, Charlie, we're all friends here, don't worry. You were also an advisor to Theresa May when she was Prime Minister. So there you are with her. She had a hard time.
She did, and I'm incredibly fond of Theresa, and I think people have seen since she stopped becoming Prime Minister. She's made some brilliant interventions on the backbenches and has actually called things out against former Prime Minister, Prime Minister and former Prime Minister.
I hate Boris Johnson. I want to hear what you say about Boris Johnson later, because she blames him for taking her job. But I'm just wondering if you can see in the situation that Sunak is in now some shades of what Theresa May got into, where you just feel a curse. So there was a speech at the 2017 Tory conference. This will be in your nightmares, I think. And Theresa May suffered something called falling letters. hell did that happen?
It's a fitting error, obviously. A backstop that was pinned to the wall there, but and obviously didn't last as long as it's meant to.
My understanding was that it was because there was a big inquiry, and they found it's so fantastic. This thing was up for a week before it fell off. It fell off during the speech. No one could explain it. Well, the reason is they were held on by magnets, and what they weren't tested for was will the magnets stay if everyone goes. She was also handed a P45 by the comedian Simon Birkin. She takes it. That was regarded as one of the. She takes it.
At that point.
And then she struggled through. I'm hoping we've got the cough clip. Let's have a look at the cough clip. Why we will never. I hope you noticed that, ladies and gentlemen, the Chancellor giving something away free. The real 1950s joke, that isn't it? And of course, as a result of them all clapping to say, well done, Theresa, you're now back on track, then the letters fall off the wall. So that's the secret. And I suppose it's a very long question to ask you. Is Sunak in this same situation where you just can't catch the brain?
Probably. I think, look, it takes a certain character and a certain person. I, for one, look, not sacrifice the reason. I think most people did actually, it's very hard in politics to get a break anyway.
Yeah.
And I think when the going gets tough and when people are against you, and I do feel actually that she got it harder than most because she's a woman.
And because of Windrush as well.
Well, and because she was dealing with Brexit, which divided the party, it has divided the country. It was always going to be a tough job to have. But I do see similarities. It's not all. It doesn't amount to everything because if you are Boris Johnson, I know we'll come on to him in it as well. But if Boris Johnson had a copy of it, or if the step fell down, or if he announced the general election in the rain, I don't think people would care.
No.
He would be able to brush it off. He's got that kind of personality.
Yeah, and I don't. It's rather like when Trump says I could shoot somebody on 51st Street and still get elected. But we'll just go through some of Sunak's problems. I mean, the very first day was the rain, obviously, so he came out and it was pouring. And then he just decided I'm going to stick it out. He didn't want to hold number. That's a terrible image, that. That is a really, really, really bad image. Because as somebody said, if you can't look out of your own window, how can you be Prime Minister? He then had the D-Day incident where he left early, and you had world leaders like David Cameron in the photo. We got the gambling fiasco ongoing.
And D-Day didn't happen to him. That was a bad decision.
No, it was a bad one because he missed the fact that you can't leave until everyone else has gone.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of they only need me in the morning. That's not how it works. But the other thing, I did listen to him yesterday in a debate, and I thought he sounded like he was getting angry, and I wondered if that's what he is. It's with the Sun's Harry Cole. Have a listen.
Responsibility for inflicting this trust on the voters. Do you feel any responsibility for inflicting this trust on the voters? Look, we started this interview with that, right? I spent a couple of summers ago, saying that what Liz Truss was proposing was wrong. And I was behind, and everyone said to me, why are you bothering? Why are you still talking about this? No one wants to hear what you have to say. I kept talking about it every day of that campaign because I believed in what I was saying.
Now, will that work, Gemma? You think that thing where he says, all right, come on, let's go outside and sort this out with our fists. Is that sort of Rishi Sunak, which we haven't seen before?
I think it's what it's reflecting is he's had enough. Yeah, because no one's listening to him anymore. He's onto it, uphill sort of struggle. I think his heart isn't in it. I think he wants out. I personally think that's why he called the election when he did. I just simply think he's had enough.
But it's a really serious situation this for him personally, because if the polls are correct, big if Labour got, say, 480 seats, if the Conservatives went down to, say, 90, big if, he's somebody whose name, this is all his name will ever mean. For 100 or 200 years, that was the one that was the worst result ever. And nobody wants that, do they? You just don't want to be that record breaker.
No, you don't. And look, you asked about similarities with Theresa. I mean, Theresa had a divided party because of Brexit. The Conservative Party could not hear its positions over that. The trouble that Rishi has is that it's a divided party because there are people that very much supported Boris Johnson not a great start to launch a campaign.
No.
When the country has stopped listening to you, which effectively it has if you're behind in the polls 20 points for such a long time, you've got to do something dramatic to call election. But you've got to have the personality to see that through.
But you've decided, not you, but he has decided, I'm going to stab Boris Johnson in the back because I think I can do a better job. Now, whatever you think about Boris Johnson, and we are going to talk about him, that guy was a campaigner. He can get away with standing in the rain. Before we go on and do that conversation, which we must have about Boris, I want to talk about Glastonbury, which is different because you're going to be at Glastonbury.
I am.
This is so exciting.
It is. It's my first time as well.
So doing what?
Marina is on this show often. We have a podcast together, and so we were asked to do Glastonbury, which probably sounds like more that we'll be on a stage somewhere, and we're going to do the live full podcast.
But then you get in and you get to see all the other
Yeah,
stuff. That's
my
the main
daughter
thing.
is so jealous. I've got a ticket which says artist. I'm like, you know, she couldn't get a ticket. She's 19. She's like, this is not the correct order of things. And then we were like really stressing out because our lives are so disorganised. No tent sorted out. I'm like, where do we get a tent? Can't put a tent up. This is stressing me out. Marina's been on holiday. On the podcast, briefly mentioned last week, I just said, you need to come home because we've got to sort out this tent business. Can you even put one up? She's like, we'll take this offline. Cut to a full listener. We've got a campsite. We've got a car. We've got a proper tent with bed in it. We'll be like the two Ronnies in there.
It is great. Watching your podcast grows because Doris thinks it is a brilliant listen. So, after the break, is Nigel Farage right to call Boris Johnson our worst Prime Minister? The pair have clashed over Mr. Farage's comments about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Do you agree with the Reform leader's verdict? Give us a call now with your thoughts. 0207 222 is the number. Bjorn Ulvaeus has revealed he thinks the band's name is too big. What does he wish they were called instead? The Northern Lights? The Stockholm Syndrome? Or IKEA Dreams? Find out which after this short break.